All right, so the Sony State of Play presentation just wrapped up, a little over 40 minutes, a ton of games to discuss that were showcased, and that's what we're going to do. So let's just jump straight into this because Helldivers 2 started things off, and I got to be real with you guys, I'm just still not interested in this game. It just looks like a generic sort of squad-based shooter that probably should be a free-to-play game. Lots of explosions, lots of gunfire, lots of stuff happening. I don't know, it looks fine, but it's not a game that's high on my priority list. Maybe if reviews are somewhat positive on it or Spawnwave buys me a copy, I'll play it with him. Then we had Herman Holst joining us and basically saying that Helldivers 2 was a great game. That kind of made me giggle a little bit. Stellar Blade was up next, and honestly, this game looks pretty fun. Obviously, it's a sort of Devil May Cry, Bayonetta style of action, hack and slash gameplay. You unlock new abilities as you play throughout the game. They showed off the ability of like a double jump as being one of the things you end up getting. I will say some of the voice acting in this presentation for Stellar Blade definitely sounded a little bit spotty. Like some characters definitely sounded way better than others. And I'm not 100% sure that the voice of the main character Eve is really indicative of how I would envision her, but you know, that's neither here nor there. They showed that the game also has side quests that you have to encounter as well. You can of course choose to do them or not choose to do them, but you'll probably get more bonuses if you decide to do them. I will say the game looks pretty fun. The combat looks pretty tight, but this was more of an explanation about the game instead of just like pure gameplay. I'm not really sure that the story is really gripping me in any way, shape, or form. Like, that's fine though. You know, there's some really cool looking set pieces. I definitely liked overall what I saw from this game. I'm not sure if it's a day one purchase for me though, but I will say it definitely looks very high quality. The game is releasing on April 26th, and it could be a fun game. Sonic Shadow Generations was up next. Yes, folks, the Sonic Generations remaster, remake, whatever you want to call it, is indeed a reality, but Shadow is now here. There are some new futuristic levels where you play as Shadow, and honestly, I'm going to go ahead and say it. You know, they should just remake Shadow the Hedgehog at this point in time. Like, he's become ingrained in the Sonic franchise. I understand that he wasn't introduced in Shadow the Hedgehog, but that's like his game. Like make it again, you know, make it better. But I will say this looks very fun, very fast. The new content, of course, is definitely a welcome addition. Comes out in autumn of 2024. The next game we have has dubstep music playing very loudly on it because I guess it's 2012 again. It's a game called Zenless Zone Zero. There's some alliteration for you. Definitely a nice graphical style, but I really have no idea what this game is about. Like, it looks kind of like a Hi-Fi Rush style visual style. They just said it was in development. Okay, Foam Stars was up next. I can't imagine this game is going to be very successful. You know, being on PlayStation Plus will probably help it, but this game is a hard pass for me. But honestly, if you are looking forward to Foam Stars, that is awesome. And I'm so happy for you, and I hope you enjoy it immensely and enjoy your time with the game. But for RGT, he's going to have to pass on this one. Dave the Diver is coming to PlayStation this April. All right, you know, people like diving with Dave. He's not a holy diver, but RIP to my friend Dave. And now Godzilla is in Dave the Diver for some reason as well. In April, you can play Dave the Diver. I am a fan of Godzilla. The Godzilla edition is included in May of 2024. I'm guessing this is premium DLC, but hey, you know, that's kind of cool. Baldur's Diablo Gate was up next. It's a game called V Rising, and honestly, no interest from me. I'm not really into those style of games, but if you are, you might seem to enjoy it. It looks like there's some sort of castle building mechanic. I don't know. I could be wrong on that. Silent Hill time, folks. Now my interest is being piqued, and we have a weird looking game to start things off. It's a young woman who enters Silent Hill with her cell phone in a first-person perspective who seems to be trying to find a character named Maya. Very PT vibes from this. This is called Silent Hill Short Message. It's a free-to-play game, and it's out today. It looks awesome, and like I said, it comes out today. I'll definitely be playing this because, I mean, it's free as well. I'm guessing it's essentially like a PT style thing, but it definitely looked very creepy. And then we got to look at Silent Hill 2. It looks pretty good. I don't know. Maybe I'm being a little harsh on it. I expected a bit more from the graphics, but it's good enough for sure. But I don't know. There was a weird vibe to it. Like there was an odd music choice as well with like upbeat orchestra rock. What? Like it's not very creepy or Silent Hill. They showed a lot of, puzzle solving and a lot of combat in the game as well. It looks good, but I don't know. I'm kind of a little bit worried about this now, honestly, after this presentation. It does not have a release date either, so hopefully 2024. The next game was from the BioShock team, the Judas game that I was not familiar with when I talked about the state of play on Monday. This was up next. It looks very BioShock-ish, which is honestly a good thing in my opinion. Definitely vibes from BioShock 1 more so than BioShock 3, but that's fine with me. There were some very weird characters and weird enemy types, but I dig it. Lots of cool combat. Very, very stylized looking game. Like I'm sure it's going to have an awesome soundtrack. No release date or release window for this game, but this is definitely a game to keep an eye on. And I think Judas could end up surprising a lot of people because they became Judas in their mind. And then Metro. Hey, it's a new Metro game. I've honestly become a fan of this series within the past few years. And here's a kicker. It's a PSVR 2 game, which I did not expect that to be a thing. But I think that's something that will work very well. It's called Metro Awakening VR. Comes out sometime in 2024. I'm someone who owns a PSVR 2. I haven't really used it outside of the launch window. I played a bunch of Gran Turismo 7 with it. I played some Star Wars with it. Like, it was fine. But these sorts of things, I think, will make it a bit more valuable. You get more bang for your buck with this. Definitely love the visual style of this. It looked absolutely awesome. We got another PSVR 2 game up next. It's called Legendary Tales. It comes out on February 8th. And at first I was like, this kind of looks crappy. It looks like a poor man's sort of Elder Scrolls game, like a medieval dungeon style game. But then I saw like the breaking and the combat physics of stuff, and it looked really good and like really interactive. And the more I saw from this game, the more I was honestly interested in it. And it has an online multiplayer component as well. Comes out on February 8th. So I'm sorry, Foam Stars, if I'm playing any PlayStation game on February 8th, it's going to be Legendary Tales for my PSVR 2. Then Dragon's Dogma 2 was up next. And this game looks stunning, man. This game looks stunning. This might be a day one for your boy here. I love the way this game looks. I love the world. I love the monsters. I love the way that the combat is seamless. I love the set pieces. I love how diverse the monsters are. Like, it just looks awesome. Like, they showed this one scene where there was like a fight in a forest with like some big ass creature, and you're just like, he's just like taking down trees and shit. Like, it was wild, dude. It looked absolutely fantastic. And I think this game is going to be awesome. Dragon's Dogma 1 was super good. It flew under my radar for a very long time. I'm not making that same mistake with Dragon's Dogma 2. Game comes out on March 22nd, and I'm definitely looking forward to it. Our Rise of the Ronin Deep Look was up next, and I was really going into this trailer with an open mind because I want to like a modern ninja game that's not a linear style game like Ninja Gaiden or Tenchu. Those are the games that I like when it comes to ninja games. And, all the newer stuff, it never really hit with me. The traversal in this game looks a bit Assassin's Creed-ish. Like, you have like this harpoon that you use to get to areas, and then you have like some weird wings that you can use to fly or something. The combat looks pretty traditional for this more modern style of ninja game that we've been getting for the past, I guess, decade now or so. Parries, defense being very important. I get it. That's like a whole subgenre in and of itself. Of course, every enemy has a life bar, so it's not just like one hit kills and stuff like that, which is kind of weird if you think about it because these are humans and you're using sharp blades. I don't know. It's cool though. There are guns in this game that are imported into the world of Rise of the Ronin. You can use those in combat. That was pretty cool. There was one scene where there was like blood splatter accumulating on some snow. It looked really good. I definitely like the visual style of this game, but I just don't know if it's a game for me. It looks very highly polished and it looks like a lot of fun if you're into that style of game. It also comes out on March 22nd. 22nd. So I'm going to have to say Dragon's Dogma is going to be my March 22nd game, just because that's more my style. But what do you think? Which of these two games between Dragon's Dogma and Rise of the Ronin, which one are you more interested in checking out? Be sure to let me know in the comments section down below. Then we got an Until Dawn remaster. I loved this game on the PlayStation 4. I know there's a ton of different endings because there's different things that you can do. I only got one ending, and that was kind of like done with it. And I really don't remember much from my first playthrough, so I will probably pick this up again because it's been rebuilt and enhanced for the PlayStation 5. Hope it's not it better not be no $70 though, unless you're adding in substantial amounts of content. But yeah, this looks very cool. 2024 game, looking forward to it. And then we have our big game, and it was Death Stranding 2. And yes, look, I didn't like Death Stranding 1, but I can be hopeful for the sequel because Kojima is known for changing up games and really changing up game style. So I went into this very, very optimistic. Looking at the stuff from the director's cut of Death Stranding 1, there was some very cool stuff, like, you know, a more Metal Gear-y style stuff. So I was hopeful that that would translate over into the sequel, Death Stranding 2. The creepy baby is, of course, still around. That's a good thing. I mean, who doesn't love Norman Reedus with a fetus? So you start things off, you're on a spaceship now, which is like essentially your home base. You can like check out your weapons there, you sleep there, whatever. That's kind of your main thing. And now the whole thing is, instead of just, you know, uniting America, you're trying to unite the rest of the world. So you go to other places in the world to try and do similar things that you did in Death Stranding 1. There's a weird ventriloquist style dummy that is like your talking person in the game. He's like your companion. He kind of reminds me a bit of Slappy from Goosebumps, but he has kind of like a funnier accent than Slappy does. I'm sure that won't get terribly annoying at some point, but unfortunately for me, you know, the gameplay looks very comparable to the original game. They did show, you know, Norman Reedus walking around in these large areas, probably delivering stuff, probably setting up beacons and stuff like that. There are a bunch of different locations, and visually, the game looks amazing. Like, I will not take away anything from the visual style of this game. It looks absolutely incredible, but I just don't know if I'm going to enjoy it. They showed off this other character who's like the Joker or something. I'm guessing he's from the first game. I only got about 15 hours into the first game before I tapped out. Maybe he's the Florida Joker. He plays an electric guitar that like shoots bullets or electricity or something, like typical Kojima weird shit. But I feel like this was supposed to be like a bit more serious. Like, you know, characters like Fortune and stuff in Metal Gear Solid 2, they were kind of, you know, a little bit out there. And there's always been sort of the a little bit out there characters, but this one just felt like completely out there. Like, what is this weapon? They did show a little bit of gun combat, but I just don't think it's enough to bring me in. You know, Death Stranding 2 on the Beach is the name of the game, and it's not coming out until 2025. So there could be some surprises with this game, and I might end up changing my tune the more we see from it. But as it stands right now, it's just not a game for me. Herman Holst and Kojima are now together on a stage, and they're talking about a next generation action espionage game, aka a new stylish Metal Gear Solid game, because Kojima hasn't really worked on one of those for a while. Now, this isn't starting work until after Death Stranding 2, so, you know, it's not coming out anytime soon, but that is a cool announcement. But then Kojima has to mess it all up. He's like, it's a game and a movie at the same time. We want to transcend the gaming medium, which I don't really know how I feel about that. They pan out to a shot of like Columbia Pictures as well. It's like, I'm sorry, I'm here for video games, not movie stuff. Like, I get it, you know, the original Metal Gear trilogy definitely had a bit of a cinematic feel to it, but it was still rooted in like really good gameplay. I just don't want to go too overboard into the movie aspect of it. We did get an announcement that State of Play comes back February 6th for an in-depth look at Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and that was the show. So overall, it was all right. You know, I didn't hate it. You know, some of the games were cool. Sonic Shadow Generations, you know, the Silent Hill short message looks really good. Judas looks really good. The PSVR 2 stuff was cool. You know what I'm saying? Dragon's Dogma 2 looked really cool. Until Dawn Remaster. But like the newer stuff, just, it didn't really do much for me. Like, I'm not playing Helldivers 2. Stellar Blade, maybe. You know, Zenless Zone Zero, we don't know what that is. Foam Stars, no thank you. V Rising, no thank you. You know, Rise of the Ronin, I'd rather play Dragon's Dogma 2. And then Death Stranding, it just kind of fell flat for me. But I could see people definitely loving this presentation. And if you're one of them, I'm not going to argue with you on it. If you were absolutely in love with it, I completely understand. If you didn't like it, I also completely understand. I'm kind of in the middle with it, leaning more towards positive, but still, there's still a lot of questions about 2024 stuff, especially first-party stuff, you know, actually developed by Sony themselves or one of their subsidiaries that I still feel like we have questions about. Let me know what you thought of this presentation, though, in the comments section down below. And as always, guys, thank you for checking out this video. If you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. And as always, I'll catch you guys on the next video. Later.